Good morning once again, and now let's move on to the Article 6 of the Code of Ethics for Professional Teacher, entitled The Teacher and Higher Authorities in the Profession. Now, in Article 6, it states or it focuses on the relationship between the teacher and the school administrators or the school higher authorities, which emphasizes or teaches that a teacher must follow legitimate policies, follow proper procedure, exercise honesty and professionalism, and most importantly is to protect the right and at the same time to respect and protect the interest and the educational welfare of their learner. And now, let's move on to the Section 1 of the Article 6. Now, in Section 1, it states that every teacher must put an effort to understand and respectfully follow legitimate policies despite of their personal opinion, personal reasons. Now, what is legitimate policies? A legitimate policies, it is a policies or rules that is lawful, reasonable, and most importantly, it was properly implemented by the school administrators or the school higher authorities. Now, for example, in a school where there is a policies for the teacher that says that a teacher is required to wear a proper uniform accordingly and properly. But in reality, some of the teacher or most of the teacher disagree with these policies or rules since they preferred not to wear a uniform because of their personal reasons, their personal opinion, or their personal preference that they don't simply want to wear a uniform. But being a professional teacher, you must always remember that you know how to separate your personal reason, your personal feeling, opinion, or your personal preference from your professional responsibilities. And your professional responsibilities is to simply follow a legitimate policies. Since you are a part of the school to function, you must simply follow a rules or policies of the school. So that is the idea of Section 1. Now, let's move on to the Section 2 of the Article 6. Now, in Section 2, it states that being a professional teacher, you must never ever spread any rumors, false accusation, or fake news against your superior, especially anonymously. However, if you want to accuse someone or if you have a complaint against your superior, it must be truth, real, and you had enough evidence. Not in a way that you will hide your identity just to tear down or damage or destroy someone's reputation because of anger, hatred, or personal conflict against your superior. Now, for example, you heard a rumors about your dean, that your dean is a corrupt official or a corrupt leader in your school. You, as a gossiper teacher, and you hate your dean, you will post it on social media using an anonymous account just to destroy someone's reputation, and you hate your dean. But always remember that being a professional teacher, even if you hate your dean, you had a anger and you had a personal conflict against your dean, make sure that those rumors that you heard is real, truth, or most importantly, you must gather a valid evidence of wrongdoing of your deans. Instead of posting it on social media using an anonymous account, those gathered evidence, you must present it to the proper or to the right authorities to address the issue or the rumors or the wrongdoing of your dean. So that is the idea of Section 2. Now, let's move on to the section 3 of the Article 6. Now, in section 3, it states that if a teacher has an official matter or concern, it should follow the proper chain of command when dealing with their official matter or concern. Now, what is a proper chain of command? A proper chain of command, it is an order of authority in the school. So in our school, there is an order of authority from the teacher to their superior or to the department head or dean, and from the dean or department head to the school administrators or the school higher authorities. It also says that if a teacher has a concern, it should transact and conduct through the proper channel of communication. So what is a proper channel of communication? It is a way of communicating the teacher's concern through to the correct process and to the right person. It also promotes a proper communication that ensures that the teacher's every concern could reach the right person efficiency. However, there is an exceptional circumstances. If the concern of the teacher or the official matter of the teacher has a immediate or it include a supervisor or it include their dean that they refuses to act fairly or they are directly involved with the concern of the teacher, then the teacher has the chance to raise their concern to the higher authorities or to the school administrators. Now, for example, if a teacher has a concern about their classroom, that their chairs is broken, their window is broken, and their ceiling fans is not working, the teacher could raise their concern to their dean or to their department head so that their dean or their department head could raise the teacher's concern to the school administrators or the school higher authorities so that the school higher authorities or school administrators could address the teacher's concern properly. But if the department head or the dean refuses to act immediately or to act fairly, there is a chance for the teacher to immediately raise their concern to the school administrators or the school higher authorities to address the teacher's concern and at the same time to ask the dean or the department head of the teacher why they don't act fairly or why they did refuse to act fairly. So that is the idea of the section 3. Now let's move on to the section 4 of the article 6. Now in section 4, it states that every teacher has the right to seek justice or to seek redress when they experience injustices or unfair treatment within their school. So the word redress, it means that the teacher could ask fair solution when they treated injustices or when they treated unfairly. And it also encourages teachers to speak up for their rights. And it should file a grievances. Now, a grievances means that it is a formal complaint about the unfair treatment within the school. And always remember that when dealing with all the unfair treatment and injustices, the teacher should prioritize, respect, and protect the educational welfare and interests of their learners. Now, for example of section 4 is that if a teacher experiences an unfair treatment and injustices from their dean, a teacher could seek redress and file grievances compliant against their dean, and to properly ask their dean or the teacher's dean that why they treat unfairly and experience injustices towards their dean, so that they know the main reason, and they could address it properly. However, always remember that being a professional teacher, when dealing of unfairly treatment and injustices, you should continue to teach and give a quality education to their learners, and it should not affect their interest and educational welfare of their learners. So that is the idea of section 4. Now, let's move on to the section 5 of the article 6. In section 5, it states that when appointing or promoting a professional teacher, it should be based on their qualification, their performances, their needs of service, and most importantly, their merit. Not in a way that they have a personal connection, biases, or favoritisms towards the teacher. Now, for example of section 4 is that if a teacher experiences an unfair treatment and injustices from their dean, a teacher could seek redress and file grievances compliant against their dean, and to properly ask their dean or the teacher's dean that why they treat unfairly and experience injustices towards their dean, so that they know the main reason and they could address it properly. However, always remember that being a professional teacher, when dealing of unfairly treatment and injustices, you should continue to teach and give a quality education to their learners, and it should not affect their interest and educational welfare of their learners. So that is the idea of section 4. Now, let's move on to the section 5 of the article 6. In section 5, it states that when appointing or promoting a professional teacher, it should be based on their qualification, their performances, their needs of service, and most importantly, their merit. Not in a way that they have a personal connection, biases, or favoritisms towards the teacher. Now, let's move on to the example of section 5. Now, for example of section 5 is that there is a teacher wants to apply for promotion. Now, let's say that this teacher A has a good merit, a good qualification, a good performance, and has meet the needs of the service. While this teacher B, there is a problem on the performance. There is not good and doesn't meet the needs of the service. But unfortunately, this teacher B promoted immediately. So there is a bias, a problem in promoting a teacher. So this teacher B or the teacher A has a chance to ask to seek equal fairness and to ask how they promote properly. So that is the idea of section 5. Now, let's move on to the last section of the article 6, which is the section 6. Now, in section 6, it states that if a teacher accepts a position or a job to teach in a school, and once a teacher signs all the contract and agree to the terms and condition of the school, then the teacher has an obligation to fulfill the rules, the policies that is within the contract. And always remember that teaching is more than a salary that they receive, but it is making a commitment to honor that commitment of being a good teacher. So that is the idea of Section 6. And that ends my report. Thank you for listening.